Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Welcome and thank you for stopping by. It is fantastic that you are here. Well, this is part two in a series on the casting crowns, and I'll let you know a little bit more about them in a minute. Because last week we looked at the song "Does Anybody Hear Her?" and we looked at the story of Jessica and the fact that she was starting to struggle in life, and the call to all of us to be a little bit more attentive to who is around us and what they may be going through. Well, the Casting Crowns, let's talk a little about these guys first. These guys were a youth group band, and they decided, gee, there might be something in what we're doing here. We seem to be able to write songs. It seems to be going okay, so maybe we should get together and try and do this a bit more often. And it's through that thought in 1999 in Florida that the Casting Crowns were born. Now, the Casting Crowns, again, Christian music genre, and as I've talked about before, this is a genre that goes into the inner workings of who we are more than anything any other genre does, I'm thinking. So please stay with me over the next little while, because I'm never going to chuck anything down your throat. You can trust me on that. So between 2003 and 2018, they've released 8 studio albums, 5 live albums. There's 24 singles, and there's also 2 independent releases in there. So quite a reasonable output for these guys that have been around since 2003. And sure enough, they thought, well, wonder where this thing can go. And sure enough, it has gone quite a big way indeed. These guys have sold around 10 million albums, and so particularly in the Christian music genre, relatively big sales. Every time a Casting Crown album comes out, people just seem to want to get it. I know for me, I've got all of their albums here myself. Now they have won 4 American Music Awards, 2 Billboard Awards. They've won 17 at Dove Awards. Now that's the Christian music genre awards. They're also a Grammy Award winner. Now, and this is one of the few Christian acts to have been invited to North Korea. It's that would have been an incredible experience to be invited to that country and to share the news and the stories of their songs with the North Korean people. Very incredible thing to be able to do indeed. Almost miraculous almost to have that kind of invitation. And whoever it was in North Korea that actually gave that invitation, well done, and trust it was a great time for everybody over there. Well, Mark Hall, as the lead singer, is pretty much the creative force behind the Casting Crowns. Even though the band has been pretty stable, there's only been a couple of lineup changes in that time, and so there's something quite solid and secure and stable about the Casting Crowns through their career, well and truly. Now, there's a few songs I want to talk about, but there's one song in particular I want to talk about today, and this is the song City on the Hill. Now, this came off the Come to the Well album of 2011. Now, City on the Hill it talks about the different people that live in a community. We've got the poets and the dancers, the artistic people. Then we've got the toughies, we've got the soldiers, we've got those that protect, we've got those that make sure that our city is safe. We've got the old people, and we've got the young people. And we've also got the wealthy people and the poor people. Not much unlike the communities that we find ourselves living in all of our small parts of the world that we're in. Now, the story goes that at the start of the song, we've got this beautiful community where, they're all getting on with each other, and that they understand the strengths and weaknesses that they have with each other. A beautiful thing, City on the Hill. And there's something quite beautiful about that image too, the fact that it's on the hill, which means it's a bit of an example to other cities of how life can be done. And the light was bright and the light was shining very, very brightly for the world to see. Well, bit by bit that changed. The young people would look at the old people and say, "Oh, you guys are, there's no point even having you guys around. You're old." And then the old people would say, "What do you mean? We've got life experience. You just, the young people of today, what can we say?" And then the soldiers looked at the poets and said, "Why do we need you guys around for? I mean, what's poetry got to do with protection? We don't need you guys, really. You go off to your corner and write your poems and that'll be fine." And then we had poor people just being walked past because it was easier. And the rich thinking, "Well, I've got what I need. Why do I need to bother about anybody else?" So in all of those statements, what was happening was that people started to look out for themselves and not the greater good. But no, if we look at the poets for a second, we look at a grand final. It might be the American the Super Bowl, or it could be the gridiron grand final of the US. It could be the FA Cup. It could be the AFL in Australia. What is the thing that happens? Say, for instance, a team is down by a few points, and as we discovered, I think it was in 1998 or 97, one of those two premierships, when the Adelaide Crows were down in the third quarter by quite a lot, and they ended up winning the premiership. What do you think happened at three-quarter time there? Do you think, they beat each other up and said, "Let's get into it, let's do it, let's fight," and do all that sort of stuff? No. The coach at the time, Malcolm Blight, would have given them an inspirational speech. Poetry, in essence. And that was enough for the Adelaide Crows to get up and actually win the premiership that year. From 8th as it was to becoming premiers was quite an incredible effort indeed. The toughness and the roughness of AFL, and it really doesn't get much tougher than the AFL really, needed a poet, needed poetry to get them over the line. If we think about the old and the young is typified by exuberance and dreams, and we're going to go out and make our difference in the world, and we're going to be invigorated and excited and really go for it. Whereas the older people have been there and done that, and they're looking back and they're thinking, "Gee, I wish we were like that. We were like that once, but we might have some wisdom we can impart because we've been there and done that." I think there's something beautiful about an old person speaking to a young person and talking about their life experience, and for a young person to share their exuberance and zest for life with the older person. There's something really, really beautiful about that. We think about the rich and the poor as well. There is poor in our world. We don't need to go very hard to actually notice and to see that there is poor in our world. And it seems to me that there's a lot of people with lots of money in this world as well. Now, having a lot of money is not a bad thing. Let's just say that outright. But it's the choice that we make of what we do with that money that counts. Now, if we can make a difference in the world with our money like Bill Gates has done when he's pretty much taken on AIDS in Africa on his own, that's where the power of money for good can come in. But the poor tell us the story of what it means, because we cannot walk past four poor people and pretend like they're not there, because they are there. They're human beings, and they give us a sobering reminder of what it means to be together. Everyone deserves to be in community, no matter where we are. And as the story goes on, the strong men, certainly the protectors, the soldiers certainly do come to appreciate the poets, and the fact that it's there is the poetry that inspires them to rise to greater heights. The poor and the rich, they do understand each other, and yes, everybody is helped. And certainly the old and the young, yes, this exchange of experience and exuberance is certainly the end of the story. And what the city on the hill goes from being a light that starts to fade to a light that burns bright again for the world to see. It takes all of us to be in community, not just a certain sort of person. It takes all of us to be in community, and we all have something to offer each other. And certainly in the Bible, it talks about the fact that each of us is special, each of us important, and each of us has got something to offer. And to not give everybody their opportunity means that the community misses out. It likens us to a body. You know, we need arms and legs. We can't say to our little toe, we don't need you. We do actually need you. We can't say to our you know, the parts where we actually where our digestion ends up going. Let's just look at it that way. We need that part of our body, because if we can't do that, our body clogs up and it becomes a bit of a mess inside. We need those bits. We obviously need our eyes to be able to see. We need our noses to be able to smell, and we need our ears to be able to hear. We need all of our bodies. And this is the story of Castle on the Hill. It's likened to a body, and all of the parts being equally important. Of course, for those of us out there who may not have all of our body through some reason or another, you know probably more than any of us what it's like when you don't have your whole body and what that feels like. But you know, when I watch Special Olympics, or I watch anyone who's got any sort of disability get over and exceed it despite it, is very inspirational indeed. Everybody deserves to be part of our community. Well, on to the clips. And yes, at the start we will have City on the Hill. This is off the Come to the Well album of 2011. This is actually an animated clip of the story, and it really does bring this song to life really, really well. We hear the story of City on the Hill, and we hear the story of the light fading and then the light becoming bright again. And Mark Hall has got just an incredible way of writing lyrics, really nails this community really, really well. Now, I probably first met the Casting Crowns through their song Lifesong, which came off the 2005 album of the same way. This is a very inspirational song indeed. This song talks about, can I sign off each day knowing my words are true? So we're talking about integrity here. We're talking about our actions and our words lining up with each other. And I suppose the hope is at the end of each day, and I suppose even a prayer in the case of the Casting Crowns, that our words and our actions line up. And people will be able to trust us and see us as someone that is good to be around because of this thing called integrity. And I've also included I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day. Yes, I know it's not Christmas, I get that. But this is a stunning performance of this song. When I heard this song on the Peace on Earth album from 2008, I really, really hoped that there would be a live clip of this one. And there is. We've got strings, we've got choirs of kids, and we've got Mark Hall singing this song absolutely well. So I suppose you'll get to see the Casting Crowns in their more, significant performance mode, which is what this one is. Now, those of you who have followed me in the past will know that I do go to this song a little bit, particularly around Christmas. I look at some key words, look at hope and peace and love and joy. And the words of I Heard the Bell on Christmas Day is all about the state of the world that we're in at the moment, and the hope that comes out through this song, and the peace that comes out through this song. So all of the links to those 3 songs are in the description below. And by the way, I've also included my last video from Can Anyone Hear Her from the Casting Crowns as well. So if you want to recap on that one, feel free. Well, as always, my hope with these videos is that you have been encouraged in your own journey. I suppose today, as we look at, if we can look around us and to see that our diversity makes us rich indeed. I think that's the message that Mark Hall certainly was trying to say when he wrote the lyrics to this song, for us to really, really see the strengths of each other. So I trust as you go into your day today, even you'll actually see that. And also note, by the way, the invitation below, if you want me to look at a particular song or a particular group, feel free to drop it in the comments, and I'll certainly have a look at it for you, because I have another part of this channel called Live Reflection Requests. Before you request though, I just ask that you look at my playlist and see if it's already there. There may already be a group song by this particular artist, or if you want a particular song itself, by all means suggest away, and I'll be more than happy to have a look at it for you. Well, if you've come back for another video, fantastic for you to be here. Really, really good. And if this is your first time, welcome to Life Reflections Through Music. You're very, very welcome indeed. And if you've all hung around to the end, fantastic. We love that sort of engagement. The encouragement is, I suppose, that whenever you click on one of my videos, just hang around to the end, because we might look at something you might find interesting. Well, that's it for today. Next time we're going to go on to Aussie country pop, I suppose, duo Carter and Carter. So until then, I'll catch you around.